Everyone, welcome. We will start the meeting. We do have a quorum, so we're able to proceed. Hi, Holly. I see that she's there. So, and let's see. I know that Ann Lee cannot make it today, so we're not looking for her. And David, and we lost him again. Did we not?
Yeah, he was here.
Yep. But we're still good, I believe. We have 5. Anita, Susan, myself, and Marilyn. Wait a minute. Nope, we don't have 5.
1, 2, 3.
Yes, we
Yeah,
do.
Oh,
We
yeah,
do.
okay.
Well
Okay. Thank you. I thought I
Good.
counted 5 before. So, okay, thank you very much. All right. Well, I think it's a very exciting day for us to hold a meeting, quite frankly. And I kind of would like to wait to talk about the activities that have occurred in the past week. It's only been a week. It seems like it's been a longer period of time to me for some reason. I don't know why, but boy. However, we do have enough members to have a quorum, so we are going to proceed, and I'm just going to quickly remind everybody about the open meeting law. And I'd like to add, making a change to our agenda and under announcements, because on the agenda, I only put that we were going to accept the minutes of the April 11th meeting. But as you noticed, we had 2 other meetings. So we had a joint meeting with the select board on April 11th, also in the evening. And then we had our special meeting on April 27th, and I sent all of the minutes to board members today. So we will be looking to accept the minutes of 3 different meetings and not just 1. Sorry about that.
I make a motion to accept all 3 sets of meetings, the 2 on the 11th and the 1 on the 27th.
Okay,
I'll second it.
all right. Anita, and was that Marilyn? And we have a motion on the floor. Is there any other discussion about that? David, are you with us now? He is with us. You're
I-
muted though. He's still
How's
muted.
that, better?
You're better, yeah.
Oh, we can see you, Dave.
And we hear you too, so.
Okay.
All right, so we have a motion on the floor to accept all 3 sets of minutes. Is there any further discussion about that, or any corrections or anything that anyone is aware of? If not, we'll do a hand count vote. And we have, let's see, Marilyn?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. David has got his hand up. He's a yes. Susan does, and Anita?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. And Lorelei, Lorelei, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes, thank you. Okay. And Marge is a yes. So we have a unanimous vote for that. Thank you. Now we're going to go backtrack because I mentioned the minutes and then we moved right into it, but I'd like to ask if anybody has any other announcements. I mentioned a change to the agenda. So anyone else, any board members have any announcements? I suppose we should officially, they're not here, but we should officially acknowledge the fact that 2 of our, Mark's with us
Mark's
now.
here.
Yep. So look at the hat he's got on today too. He looks like he's going sailing instead to a select board meeting soon. But Mark Rambucker and Gary Wilson, 2 of our board members, were voted in as select board members this past Saturday, and that's a huge announcement. Congratulations.
Congratulations to both.
Yes,
Yeah.
both of them, but Gary isn't with us yet that I'm aware of.
Thank you.
And they
Hey,
was, I had to
Mark-
give them credit for standing out in that cold all day long.
It was cold down there.
It was brutal.
Yeah. So,
Did I see
And you do
walking
have-
down by- Did I see
Go
you
ahead,
walking
David.
down by- Never mind.
no, please do it. I'm sorry. Say it.
Did I see you walking down by the grain store today? This
Yes.
morning? I did. That was
Yes.
you, huh?
Yep,
Okay. You gotta dress nicer now. You're a selectman.
no,
No?
no.
Okay.
Well, I've never noticed that they, on occasion, they get dressed up, but I don't notice when at their meetings that they're always dressed pretty formally, so. All right. Moving on then, I
Wow.
think. Go ahead, David.
No,
You
I'm all
okay?
set.
Okay, great.
I
I
would
turned the
just,
volume up, but then it was too loud, so it's okay.
Oh, okay.
I would like to announce that there are still openings for my Wednesday craft class where we will be painting birdhouses We
Oh,
still have-
wow.
for Wednesday. And
Wow.
it's 1 to 4 in the multipurpose room.
Okay. Anyone else? With any announcements? I don't have any either. All right,
Mark,
yes,
so
sorry.
I asked Nicole to announce what's happening tonight at the select board meeting.
Yeah, yes, you can. Please do.
So tonight at the select board meeting, they are going to be formally announcing that May will be recognized as Mental Health Awareness Month. So we did this last year with Recovery Month in September. And so we wanted to recognize May as Mental Health Awareness Month. To go along with that, we're having our mental health fair at the end of the month on the 21st. So working, Elder and Human Services and the coalition to stop the stigma against mental health and help get people the resources and support that they need.
Thank you, Nicole. I did notice that on the agenda. Plus, there's a few items there at the beginning of their agenda, I think, for EHS. And I was also going to mention, I do believe tonight will be Mark and Gary's first select board meeting. Correct, Mark?
Yes, Gary and I have both been sworn in and we will be there.
Wow. Big day. Big day for Littleton. So big changes. All right. So hearing no other comments or business, we will move along, and Holly's sitting there anxiously waiting to talk to us, I can tell. So welcome, Holly.
afternoon. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. And you're right, March, it's a very exciting day for all of us seniors. Looking forward to the days ahead. And I also would like to thank Anita and Marilyn for attending our board meeting last Wednesday. We had a good turnout and we had a couple of new people that showed up, and we're looking forward to increasing membership and moving ahead. So the notes for our meeting, we first want to mention that we attended our first training session with the Massachusetts Council on Aging, entitled Fund Development Basics. About 40 friends groups responded to a survey, and of interest to us was that 58% raised their money through events, 52% through annual funding, 29 solicit grants, and 23 have thrift shops. And also that 75% describe working very closely with their COA boards on planning and programming. So really good news that the people are collaborating in that vein. We discussed fund development versus fundraising, development being oriented to the future, income and enhances current and potential donors, whereas fundraising really focuses on the here and now and gets our funds generated through programming. And the takeaway from the conversation was that we really need to do both. We need to broaden our base of support. We need to build community and promote the values of the COA. So with that in mind, we as a board met and decided we needed to increase our visibility. And in 3 ways, we approved a purchase of a 2x4 weatherproof banner with our tree logo and address. So we're readily recognized and people have a way to know how to get in touch with us or to send donations. We also want to upgrade our Facebook page, make it more current. And one of our newest members that came to the meeting last week was Joe Barry. And he has an interest in helping us with technology, corporate gifts, and grants. So he should add a nice plug there for things that we want to get more involved with. And thirdly, in far as visibility, we thank Liz kindly for agreeing to put a little blurb in the newsletter saying that the Friends are actively looking for members to help with fundraising, not just giving a gift, but actually helping us with the work we need to do. We're a smaller board right now, and I think in the future, we're going to have to really kick off some serious fundraising efforts. So thank you, Liz, for doing that. And secondly, in addition to visibility, we want to create more opportunities for donations. And that means that we drafted a special letter that will be available at every event, and it's a gift donation that specifies in honor of or in memory of. And the Friends will acknowledge any gifts that we get with the gift to the person or the family with a handwritten note. We're ordering nice stationery cards with our logo as well to make this more personal and to personally thank people for contributing to the Friends. And also we're actively pursuing cashless methods of accepting donations. So we have looked into Venmo. I think we've kind of narrowed it down to a PayPal reader that might suit our needs because we don't use it as often, let's say, as the Park and Rec, who are always taking in donations. So I think any way that we can make it easier for people to donate is a very worthwhile cause on our part. So as far as fundraising, this month we've been invited to attend the Spring Fling on May 26th, and we will be having 2 raffle baskets. One is from the Littleton Electric Light and Water Department with a $100 off your electric bill, the planting of a shade tree, and an assortment of light bulbs and oven mitts and other various things in the basket. So that was very nice of them. And our second one is a spa basket. And we've had donations from Hair by Kara for a wash, cut, and blow dry, 5 $10 gift cards from Bella Vista Nail Salon. A Spa for You is donating a Relaxology leg and foot massage. And Reflections Salon right on King Street will either offer another service or hair products to go in our basket. And along with that, we have all sorts of creams and lotions and other beauty tools. And I think it'll be a kind of a nice pampering gift for the women that are there or the men that want to buy something for their women friends. Yeah. I think we were talking with Marilyn and Anita about potentially connecting with the Loving Stitches group and you, Marge, to see if we can't sell some of your beautiful work at football games. I think that was worked out well for us in the past. So we'd like to see if that's not something that you all could put your sights on getting things together for us to sell on your behalf. So we thank you for that. Another suggestion was to reach out to local churches just to see if we might put in a blurb about fundraising for the Friends in their bulletins. And it was also made clear to me with the town council that anything we want to do fundraising wise, if we do it on property that is not owned by the town, we don't fall under the same parameters. We have less restrictions about what we can do. So that's something I would like to look into. And then, of course, the thrift shop that still continues to be on our mind. And we're optimistic that I think after the COA and the EHS and Park and Rec have had a chance to go through the building and see what spaces are available to them, we hope something will be left for us, and that we can get that up and running again. I have a meeting with Anthony on May 11th at 2:30. But I don't really expect that there's going to be any real news in that department. We just need to be patient and wait for all the spaces to be reconfigured for other town offices. So we'll wait patiently, but we're looking forward to getting that open. And also starting fresh with new parameters on what we accept, getting clean items, opening it up to home goods, maybe increasing hours, as Marilyn suggested, so we can get a variety of people that are able to come. So we really want to, if and when this time comes, think about doing it in a really wonderful way, not only for shopping, but for socializing, and have it be a really nice space for that. Our treasurer's report this month, the income was $2,442. Our expenses this past month were $1,002, $900 of which went to the EHS for the building fund. And in closing, we just want to say again how excited we are and energized by the vote at town meeting to proceed with the plans for the senior center. And we wanted to, as a board, give a big shout out to Anthony, Joe, Liz, and all the others who did an excellent and detailed presentation for this potential new building. The Friends are in conversation about our response to this wonderful news, and we will let you know when we have a plan to hopefully jumpstart a major campaign. So thank you. That's it.
Wow.
Wow, thank you.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive, Holly, I must say. Really.
Thank you all.
Oh, you have been really busy, I think, the whole group. So, and I
Yes.
see Susan's joined us, so she's muted, but anyway, yes, I see. Does Susan want to say anything? She's welcome to if she would like to. Hi, Gary. Gary's joined us too.
I guess I covered it.
I guess you did. Well, yes, Mark.
I have a couple questions real quick for Holly, and one, well, actually, I was going to make a couple suggestions. One, the Friends of the Library have the PayPal Venmo kind of readers, so if you want advice on what they do for their fundraising and events, you can reach out to them. And I will volunteer myself if you want to start like a fundraising campaign for the building or something. I will more than willing to sit down with you guys, a few times and help you get started on that. I'm not volunteering my services to fundraise, but I will tell you, how we were going about it for the library. So I can get you some of the library volunteer fundraisers to come and meet with you folks sometime to talk about that, if that would be helpful. So
That would be very helpful, Mark. I appreciate it. We don't want to reinvent the wheel if there's already some best practices out there, and we'd be very happy to hear what you have to say, or anyone else for that matter.
Yeah.
This is exciting.
So you hopefully you have my contact information and just reach out to me. So anytime.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Anyone else have any questions or comments for Holly? Susan? Wow, that's really great. As I said, it's pretty impressive, I think. So,
Thank you.
yeah, and anytime, please, reach out to us and let us know if there's something we can do to help. And
you as well.
Susan's got her hand up. So now she's got her hand up. So I'm going to acknowledge her. So.
Just want to say Holly did a fabulous job, an excellent presentation. Thank you, Holly, for representing us.
Thank you, Susan.
Oh, that's good teamwork. right there. Wow. So, and Susan and I were both at knitting at the Loving Stitches group today. And so, and Susan is a member of that group too. So I'm sure, and we did talk a little bit briefly about the football games and the blue and gold items, and, as people want to be making things, maybe start thinking along in those directions. We have some already, but I don't know how many games you're going to go to, so we don't know how many things you might need. So, but we'll be in touch.
That's great. I love football, so
Oh, good.
I'm happy to go to any of them.
There you go.
And Holly, you had mentioned that you had checked in with Nancy Morrison and you were going to do some lacrosse games, correct?
We did. We looked at, there were 4 available, and it might be less than that now because we're moving into middle of May and they're going to be winding up their season. Nancy didn't feel like it would be worth our while to do afternoon games because it's very poorly attended or less attended than some evening games. So we weren't sure if we would jump in for the last couple of games to see, or whether we would really go all out in the fall and get the football and soccer seasons underway.
Well, she's a great help, so she'll help you a lot.
Yes.
For setting up and everything. She's great with that.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we've been in touch, and I know Nancy from PTA days, so thank you.
Great. Anyone else have any questions for Holly? Oops, forgive me. I can't, that's my landline and I forgot to bury it. So. All right. Okay, moving on. I'm having a little problem with my own computer here and seeing my screen. There we go. Okay, if there's no more business for the friends or from the board members and the friends, we'll move on to old business. And the first item on the agenda is senior center review. Wow, we put that in there just so we could talk about where we're at now. And it's only been a week. It'll be a week ago tonight. It doesn't seem, it seems like a lot longer ago. I just said that in the beginning of the meeting, and it just seems like it's a lot longer ago that all happened. However, very exciting news. So, Liz, where do you think now, and how do you think things will proceed from this point? I know I saw surveyors out there last week. There were surveyors out by the tennis courts. So.
Yeah.
Do you have any words of wisdom for us about that? How you think? I know everyone's going to want to know how things are going to move. And so if you have any insights,
Sure.
please share them.
Sure. Myself and Anthony and Joe met with the architects over Zoom last week on Thursday, just to recap town meeting and to discuss the plan moving forward. So the conversation was mostly about hiring or procuring a CM at risk to help move the project forward. So they worked with PMBC to get that moving. Brian Fors, who works with Vertex, is leading the charge on that. And we discussed a lot about the timeline, how the timeline will change a little bit, and when we might go out for RFP for construction and after the holidays, before the holidays. So we're hopeful that maybe we could do shovel in the ground next spring, early spring, but we'll see. That might be shifting and changing. I received quite a bit of feedback after town meeting. People took some time to really study the floor plan and the building and the layout. And so some of that feedback was really great. And I incorporated that into the conversation with the architects last Thursday. One of the comments was that we should consider making a unisex bathroom that's handicap and large enough for, say, a caregiver and someone with a wheelchair, like a husband and a wife, to go in and have 2 people be able to use that at the same time. So passed that suggestion, strong recommendation along. We have got some solid feedback from one of the commissioners for Parks and Recreation about the outdoor space. So I also passed that along. And yeah, we'll be moving forward and continuing to meet, I think, bi-weekly on Thursdays with the architects to make sure things are moving forward. All very exciting.
Very exciting.
It is exciting. And I'm sure you'll let us know if there's anything you feel the board can do to help you with that process as you move along.
Absolutely.
So. Also, I want to mention Liz did put together a wonderful new flyer for EHS and talking about this senior center and statistics and things that was handed out at town meeting. And I know we have some extra ones, which will be available during the course of this, I think, because I'm sure some people still want or will want information that haven't heard it before or whatever. Yes, Mark?
I was going to say to Liz that when we were doing the library, we actually were holding a couple public forums about, the programming space of the library. And you probably want to consider holding some of those before too long if you're going to potentially be changing the design or the layout of the building at all to see if people have ideas. It's a good way of socializing it and getting some other ideas. So it takes some time, but it's worth doing.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? Any comments on the whole process?
I'm thinking maybe we could take our layout as it is now, in the front pictures of how it shows on Shattuck Street, and maybe we could put something up posted in the town hall as well as the library for people to see. Because we only had 185 people at town meeting.
Good idea.
Yeah, that is a good idea, I think, Anita. Thank you. Okay. Any other comments about that? It's an art in progress. I really, I'm still excited. And I think I will continue to be excited until we see it constructed. And
Oh, no, the door's open, Marge.
Oh, that's true. That's true, Marilyn.
All the canvas and the paint bought for you. Now we just have to make it happen.
All right. Okay, moving on. It's been a very busy time since our April 11th meeting. And I don't think that we have done a whole lot on the MOU with between the COA board and the, friends of the COA. But I'm going to turn it over to Liz about that because I'm not 100% sure. So we left it on the agenda though. So we wouldn't forget it.
Right. And I think what you said earlier, Marge, really is true. When there's town meeting, there's kind of a time warp and things have to go on the back burner. So the MOU did go on my back burner for a little bit. I did make the edits that we discussed at the last COA board meeting, and I sent it over to Mark not too long ago today to see if he had any feedback for me, and then I'll bring it back for an additional review.
Okay, great. It's coming. It's in the works still. But
Liz, you didn't send it to me as well?
Oh, geez. Sorry, Marilyn. I'll send that too.
Okay, thank you.
okay, so that's a process. That's in the works.
As it's been a little hectic today, I'll try and get to it sometime later in this week.
I think you're going to be a little hectically involved a lot now.
No rush.
Yeah. I think
No,
Gary's going to be very busy.
I'm sure you too. Gary, you weren't here when we were congratulating the two of you, but you were in our thoughts. And we did mention you then too. So I just want you to know that we're very happy and sad to see you leave, but we realize you're still going to be helping us and even in a better position to help us probably as members of the select board. So great job to the two of you.
Thank you. It's a long day.
Oh, I'm sure it was. I was tired when I left and I left before noon. I mean, like, gee. So, yep.
A long and cold day.
As I've said, I admire your willingness to volunteer to do a job like that. It's very complex, to say the least, I think. So, okay. Moving on then to new business. Do we have any board members updates?
I do.
Susan, yes.
I don't have too much new from Affordable Housing Trust. Basically, the Durkee Farm situation, technically the land hasn't been, or the house and the barn have not been turned over to the town. So Affordable Housing Trust can't do anything, but it will be. And the same thing for Tehadawin. They need to do perk tests, et cetera, to see if where they think they could build a duplex, if it would be a buildable lot or not. So that's that. And of course, 550 King Street is always being talked about at every planning board meeting and at every maybe not every select board meeting, but it's a topic. And then the planning board meeting last week, Thursday, May 5th, at the very end of the planning board meeting, some comments were made about the senior center. And I personally am a little worried that that when we go in front of the planning board, that they could drag us out. That's only my personal opinion based on the comments that were made. So I urge everybody on this board to keep watching planning board meetings, to keep on top of it. Also, anybody out there, all seniors in town, to keep watching those. We won a big, huge battle on Monday night, but, at town meeting last week. But, the war's not over. I think we've got a lot of little battles coming up, and I just think we need to really stay on top of it. But that's my own personal opinion based on that meeting.
Well, I think, Susan, your suggestion for people in general and members of the board to pay attention to the planning board meetings is really good. I know they're meeting this Thursday again on the 12th, and they're talking about 550 King Street, I believe, as well as many other things. But it's always good to check their agenda, and I'm going to try. I was unable to attend that meeting and because I had a conflicting church meeting, but the church meeting's only once a month. So I should be able to be a little bit more attentive myself.
Yeah, I didn't attend it. I watched it on LCTV.
I did watch the tape of it myself.
Thank heavens we have LCTV that replays all these meetings, so that if anybody out there, if they can see all the meetings, I don't want to say there's no excuse for not keeping up with what's going on in town, but I think there are people in town who don't keep up with it, and it is easy to do. I'll leave it at that. I don't want to get myself into trouble.
No, but you make some very good, clear points, and I agree with you. It's, if you can't attend the meeting or watch it on cable live, then you always can see the tape of it, and it's on the website, town website.
And they're all there from weeks ago, months ago. I mean, it's not just
years ago. I've had to go back, and they're there. Yeah,
right.
They're there.
You don't have to catch it that day or the next day. I mean, when they're up, they're up.
You're right. And you can, just as long as you have, some of the meetings are a couple of hours long. So if you have a 2-hour window and I know I'll put it on sometimes and I walk around the house listening to it and do things while I'm listening to it.
You can fast forward through them if it's on a topic that you might not be as interested in or whatever, or it doesn't pertain to you.
Correct.
Planning board gets people in front of them that are talking about a specific thing for their driveway or their whatever. That, okay, you don't need to spend a lot of time listening to that. But anyway.
Good points. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else for board member updates? All right, moving right along then. Well, let's see. We put interdepartmental collaboration on the agenda again because last month we had it, and Tim from Park and Rec was waiting for us to get to him when we got down to that part of the agenda, and then had to leave. And he was going to try to make it today, and that's why we left it on the agenda, but I don't see him. Is he here, Liz, that you're aware of? No, okay.
He wasn't able to make it.
So I know that he wanted to talk to us, if I'm not mistaken, Liz, correct me if I'm wrong. But we wanted to have a chat with him and he with us about working together and collaborating. And I think that was the kind of the focus of it, if I'm not mistaken.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we'll keep working on that and try to get him to one of our meetings so that we can have that conversation. Okay. The next item then on our under new business is the senior tax work-off program. And yeah, go for it, Liz.
Thanks. Okay, so our senior tax work-off program here in Littleton is probably one of the largest that I know of definitely of any surrounding community. We have the highest participation, and at a previous MCOA conference, we were the largest one in the room of that conference. So our program is extremely successful. The trouble is it gets so large that it's hard to manage. We currently have 98 signed up in the program right now who are actively working in different departments in the town. Now, how we calculate this is each year at town meeting, they vote to put $80,000 from the assessor's overlay account to this program. With this amount of people in the program, after you divide it all out by minimum wage, which keeps raising, each person gets somewhere between $600 and $800, which does not reach Littleton's max, which is $1,000. And just a note to make that in Massachusetts, you can do up to $1,500. So I've thought a lot about this program and how to make it more manageable, and things like caps or income guidelines or things like that have crossed my mind. But I'm wondering if we can potentially just increase the amount of money we have in the program to make it more worthwhile for all the people who are joining it. I did send an email off to the assessors and treasurer to see what steps would need to be taken, how we could potentially increase this, because every little bit helps on your property taxes. And if we could get some additional money, it would be helpful for all these 98 people enrolled in the program to age in place and stay in Littleton and make it more affordable. So that's on my radar. And if anyone has any thoughts or ideas, love to hear them.
I definitely have some ideas. This was actually part of the stuff I spoke to actually on my campaign. So it's definitely near and dear to my heart. I am interested in having the cap raised. Why are we not doing the max anyway at $1,500 a person? But it's interesting why we're not covering it to its maximum. If we know 98 people are in the program, we should be asking theoretically for $98,000. So that I think that's really where, right? If they're each allowed to have 1,000. Oh wait, so it's minimum wage though. So
yeah,
you got whatever the number comes out to.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
right.
And then we have, we do that with other programs, or maybe we just look at, an average over the year, what it actually comes to. What happens when you have a shortfall? Do you just shut people off, or I was just curious how, when they hit the money cap, so to speak, back for money.
Yeah, as long as I've been here, first time and second time, we've never gone over that 80,000. It's inevitable throughout the year. Somebody moves, somebody passes away. Okay. So we stay pretty close to it, but we never go over it. And I think the focus in past years has been, well, we need to get it under control by minimizing it. But I think that's not the way to go.
Yeah.
Let's make it more accessible and more worthwhile.
The
Yeah.
history goes back to when I was working in the assessor's office. Initially, we were only giving $50,000 a year. And then there was a town meeting, I don't know, 6 or 7 years ago, where they raised it to 80,000. And at the time, it was the feeling of the assessors that were in place at that time that there was money in the overlay and it had a purpose and they should increase it. So they went to town meeting and it was almost voted unanimously. I mean, not many people turned it down. So to ask for 100,000 to be put in there, I don't think is a bad call.
Yeah, and I don't know how the program, let's be honest, these are professionals to some degree that are either retired out of something and they're giving back to something that we could use them in, whatever the department is, phones. I mean, there's all kinds of tasks, obviously. But, and I hate to call it cheap labor, but it's a lot cheaper than having to go out and hire somebody, right? To, I don't care, pick a department and then have to pay benefits and all the other things that come with that. So it's a huge bang for the buck. It helps both sides. I just see it as a slam dunk. So I'm glad to hear we're not turning people away for sure. So, but it's definitely something we really need to make sure that we're budgeting. Yeah. Marilyn.
Marilyn,
Gary, they capped the number of hours,
Sure.
okay, every year. So like right now, when I turn my slips in, because I didn't stop the minute I had the 60 hours, I turned in an extra 38 hours for Liz to use to bring people who haven't been able to earn their hours to help them get it. But,
Okay.
you know, so it's capped at the number of hours you can work instead of dollars, which comes out to dollars in a way.
Just to clarify, the extra hours go to proxy workers, people who sign up specifically into the program who are unable to physically work for various reasons, and they sign up on a proxy basis. And we adapted that several years ago through the select board to have that in place.
Okay. So, sorry, Marge, I really want to get to the bottom of the first.
no, go.
The room, are you saying that, I mean, I know Mark would probably agree, just from the select board standpoint, are we funding this appropriately?
We could use more money.
Okay. That's the question. So, all right.
And maybe it wouldn't all have to come out of the assessor's overlay account. Maybe the town, through taxes or another account, could dump money into it as well.
That's kind of the question I sent off this morning. How high could we go? And could we get all 98 people, say, next cycle after, up to that 1,000 or 1,500? What would that actually, how would we actually fund that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a number. It's just math.
Yeah.
And I mean, when it's not used, you're giving money back, correct? What's it turned to free cash? Is that what we're doing with this money?
Yeah.
So Gary, you're aware how the overlay account works, right? That we keep money in the overlay every year to pay for abatements or whatever. And I know when I was working in the assessor's office, the overlay accounts would be there for could be up to 4 or 5 years previous, waiting to settle any cases in court. And if there were no cases in court, that money, I think, went into the general fund.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow, you raised a very good topic, I think, Liz. And
Yeah.
it certainly is worth looking at, yeah. And when does the new year start for them?
July.
In July. Oh, that's quick. That's coming quick. So,
So
Okay.
could we do an article for the fall town meeting that could cover the people who sign up July 1st?
What exactly are you asking? Could you rephrase that?
I'm asking for the fall town meeting, could an article be written to increase the 80,000 to whatever? And it would cover the people who start working in July.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, Gary, but everyone is going to start working in July, right?
Yes.
Because it's the start of the fiscal year.
Mhm.
And if there is money sitting around in free cash or somewhere else that is unallocated from the other budget, you could do an article in town meeting to fund an additional however much money, providing there's a funding source for it.
Yeah. I wish we had done it obviously for this town meeting, right? It would, I just think there needs to be a little work. Let's put it on a PowerPoint, maybe see what that number, how many participants over the last couple of years, how it's grown. And if they were all giving max hours, if they are allotted, they're allowed to, what would that equal? And that's a big, whatever that number is. I mean, shoot for the moon, right? And,
Right.
and then see how we can budget it. But yeah, there may be some free cash out there that we could allot to it this year if we run into an hours problem. I hate to hear, Marilyn, like you got capped. Is that an artificial cap because the money wasn't there, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Sure that
Yep.
air across. Okay.
Yep.
Yes. All right.
So I think I'm hearing that maybe, Liz, it always falls on your shoulders anyway, it seems, but if you did that presentation and put it together, it would go before the select board, correct? It would have to go
And
before the select board at some point.
And the finance committee, yeah.
Yeah, and the finance committee, right?
Okay.
Okay,
I have all the data, all the statistics from the past several years, so that shouldn't be a problem. I just want to point out, David has his hand up, Marge.
oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see that. Where is he? I lost him. Anyway, there
I
you
see
go,
you.
David. Go for it.
Yeah, I was just wondering, all right, Marilyn was talking about how there was a cap and it was set because of a money issue. Okay, so that cap can actually be changed, I guess.
Mhm.
Okay, and I know that we have had, in the past, we had somebody taking our minutes at library trustees for a while until he maxed out on his hours and then was gone. So just when you get used to having somebody there, they say, well, my hours are full, so I'm leaving. And then you're saying, oh, well, he was really good, or they were really good. We really need to have him here. So I think that sort of ought to get taken into consideration if you're trying to revamp this whole program.
Definitely agree.
I was just thinking, somebody mentioned that the max was $1,500, and I mean, the quick math on 98 rounded up to 100, that's $150,000 for 100 people if you give them the max cap, so to speak. So I don't know, it seems like there's a little bit of research, a little bit of work ought to go into this.
So the other thing that the research has to happen to make sure that you have the hours for those people to work as well, right?
That's
So
correct.
We need everything has to align. And
Mhm.
this is going to sound like I'm picking on you, Marilyn, but it's really not meant to be that. If the cap was higher, what would happen is instead of Marilyn getting the 1,000, she would get the 1,500, but then someone else wouldn't get the $500 that she's donating, right? So Marilyn didn't work for free. She just worked for somebody else for part of her time. Is that correct, Marilyn?
I would say that's it. And the other thing, Mark, that's hard, and this is something, and I understand it's because of accounting and payroll and all of that, okay? You have to turn in your hours in May. But those jobs still need to be done during the end of May and June and July before these kick in. Now, are those jobs not being done, or are more people just volunteering those hours because they don't count anywhere? They don't count as proxy hours. They don't count as veterans hours. They don't count anywhere. So I know over the years, people say, hey, my hours are up, too bad. I hope I can go back there next year. I mean, that's just,
Many continue volunteering till the end of the fiscal year.
yeah, like I do. I do, Gary.
I know you do.
I don't know how many, I know others that, nope, my hours are up, I'm through.
That's,
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
We-
it
we
sounds
also-
like there's, oh, sorry, go ahead.
So say we also have the opposite problem where we have so many workers, there isn't the places to put them even after people are finishing their hours.
Yeah.
We are trying to create jobs for them to be able to get their hours done. It's like if you were to log into Munis now, I have 98 employees under me in addition to the staff. Because all of these folks are in Munis and their payroll gets entered at the end of the year. So Marilyn, that's why the hours end early because
Oh, I understand.
yeah,
I
do
knew
all the
that. I
accounting.
knew that completely. That was not,
Yeah.
it just meant the work left to be done. That was no surprise to me.
Yeah.
And
But
I
there's
knew the
still-
reason why.
Still
Yeah.
people with very specific skill sets or limitations that we struggle to find positions for. So, I mean, I don't want to open it up for 200 people to participate because then we'd have to hire a full-time person just to manage the program. But just wanted to put that on the radar.
Well, I think it's a great thing that you brought it to our attention. We had this discussion because it should be considered, and we need to look at that. I think the town needs to look at that. So, great. So another job for Liz to do, but she says it won't be a lot of work. So,
No.
all right. Any other discussion on tax work-off program? It is a valuable program. I've done it myself a couple of times over the years. And I actually enjoyed it. I enjoyed the social part of it, so I can speak a little bit about it. Okay, we'll be anxious to hear where we're going with that. The next new business item is resuming in-person meetings because we're coming up to July quickly. So, and we talked about it briefly and then put it off again. And so I think we need to revisit that subject. I know we changed the hour to 3 to help that seems to have helped some people. What are your thoughts on this? Do we want to restart meeting in person and then have it be like a hybrid meeting? Just be in-person meeting? What are your feelings?
Dave has his hand up.
David?
Yes, I was been thinking about it, and always am of a mind that I'd love to go back to the live meetings, but this young fella down here sitting down in the corner of my screen doesn't look like he's old enough yet to get a license and drive his mother to work yet, or down to our meeting. So maybe we ought to stay Zooming.
I think that little fella's a little girl, and she's
Oh,
she's
all
not in the corner of my screen, but I know she's a
Okay.
little girl.
Sorry,
So-
can't question. Oh yeah, there. Yep. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, isn't that your daughter, Lorelei?
This is Genevieve.
Oh, hi Genevieve.
Hi, Genevieve.
You gonna
Oh, now
drive
you
your
got
mother?
her.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, I don't know that I don't know if the option is there for just solely Zoom.
I'd
Liz,
like to
you-
see hybrid
You'd like to see hybrid?
because I'd like, live meetings, but there are times and there are people that can't make it. So I would like hybrid if I had a choice.
Okay,
If
anyone else?
if hybrid is a choice, I would go with that too, because I mean, we're going to need a couple new members to the board. And to be able to at least say to prospective people, well, there's an option of hybrid that may attract more people. Because as Marilyn says, even though I think in person is so much better for the social piece of it and everything else, but there's some days or sometimes or some circumstances it just doesn't work. If hybrid's a choice, I think I think we should look at it, into it.
Okay. Sounds like everyone or several of you feel that that's a good option. I don't
I
know
think-
if we, go ahead.
I think it's a good option as well. Anything that can keep everybody coming to the meetings and being able to take part is important. And if we can't have everybody live and we can have hybrid, then we should do that. Because we don't want to lose any potential members or expertise that members have because we have to say, oh, it has to be this way and no other way.
Okay. Liz, do you have any sense of whether that's a possibility?
I did have a brief conversation with Judy from LCTV about doing the hybrid model, and it's doable. It takes a little bit more work, and there might be a learning curve for me on recording meetings and going live, things like that. But I think I could be the designated staff person for that, and I'll just have to sit down with Judy and maybe Kirby and Mark a little longer and figure out the logistics.
Okay. So I think what I'm hearing from you all is that we'll explore that option. Mark,
Did they extend the deadline or at one point hybrid meetings were going away is that still true for open meetings, government meetings, that they were going to expire in July? Did the governor extend that?
I don't know. That's what I was wondering
I
myself.
thought it was expiring. I didn't hear of an extension, but I haven't followed up on it. But yeah, you're right. Everything was going away as of July, whatever that date was. Oh, there's Mark.
Here's Mark. Let's ask Mark.
Uh-huh.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello. The governor has not extended it yet. So as of July 15th, I think is when it ends.
Okay.
And hybrid's not an option.
If he doesn't extend it, then
Okay.
it's not.
Yeah,
Not that it's not technical. It wouldn't be illegal anymore unless the town adopts a remote participation policy, which I think, I don't know enough about that. So.
Yeah, right now it's the law. Isn't it done at the state level, Mark? The towns?
According to Diane, you can adopt for board members, but they can't vote. Right now you can vote and everything remotely.
Yeah.
But there is an adoption that you can have you can participate, but you can't vote, that type of thing.
Okay.
Oh,
The governor
Right.
suspended all that during COVID.
oh,
Yeah, I know it was never meant to be a permanent by any means. So, but we've proven that a government can be very effective run this way as one of the options. So hopefully we see something, but that would take the legislature, state to fully adopt it, I guess, right? So.
Right.
well,
Interesting.
that changes things. Thank you, Mark. That changes things a little, maybe. So,
We should
That-
plan
ahead.
for a change and then wait and see if we can do hybrid, but plan for what's going to happen if we can't.
right, I think so. I'm not too optimistic after hearing them. Mark's comments, so. And that's what I was told too, that it was going to expire in July, back when I asked a while back. So then the other option, well, we'll have to meet in person. So then we do have an option of trying to change the time of the meetings to a different time. But other than that, or the, time, day and time. But other than that, we don't have any other options if we have to meet in person. Am I reading that right? I think so.
Yep.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on that? And do we want to look at that?
Go ahead. Sorry.
Also, talking about the time situation, do we have a problem with meeting rooms? like what's available to us at what time.
I'm not so sure it's meeting rooms. I think the number of meeting rooms has increased.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
I think, well, but I think LCTV staff time, manpower time
Okay.
might be the issue more than, I'm guessing. But I
Okay.
know the library, you know, right, Mark, the library's room is up and running now, and the fire station has been fixed, and the police department's up and running now. So, and we have room 103. So there's at least those 4 different meeting rooms, but it takes LCTV staff to be, if there's more than one meeting at a certain time, say, you know. Oh, here's Mark. Yeah, I'm so glad you're listening.
Yes. We have video vendors that we hire, you know, usually Amber is doing this meeting. So
Right.
we hire different people. So it's not just the staff that covers meetings. Because of COVID, and we've re-outfitted certain rooms with new equipment to be able to do hybrid and things. Not all the vendors have been trained on those rooms because they've been doing things from home
Oh,
via Zoom. And just to clarify about the library, we had a problem with the one shoot that we did from there with the fiber connect from that library to here, because that's how we go live. We've been trying to get Verizon to come out and look at it, and I think they're finally going to be coming out this week. But so right now we can record from the library, but we can't go live.
well. So it's still tight. Are you saying room availability is still?
We've been working on a chart that maps out the different committees that we cover and the ones that are in different rooms. And there should be plenty of room right now for people. It may require some moving of different nights, which have been traditional nights for certain boards. But, you know, we've already had some of them do it. So people are willing to do it in order to go to the rooms that have the cameras.
So is our best option then for us to explore with you or somebody in LCTV, if there would be, even if we had to change our time again, to see what the options might be?
Yeah, I can certainly send you a list of the different nights and locations that are available as of now.
Are
So-
you just talking nights, Mark? We meet in the afternoon.
Well, I'm just saying, and I was suggesting if we change it to an evening or early evening time. I don't know if the board wants to do that. I was just exploring options, Marilyn.
Okay.
I didn't want to close the door and say it had to be until we know what we have as options. That's all.
Yeah, me too.
I think we need to explore afternoon or early evening because we don't know
Right.
what's going to be.
We're going to be having hopefully new board members join us. So, but. All right. Yes, Mark.
I was
ahead.
going to make the suggestion that this is the perfect topic for a July meeting when you have your new board members and new board in place, and that you should keep it as is until July, because when you have the new board members on, they probably want to have a say in when you're meeting as well. So.
Yeah, because if we were to have a younger group join our board, they might be working at 3:00 in the afternoon and could only meet at night. We don't know what we're going to get, who's going to come on as new board members and what their schedules are going to be like.
Okay, well, I can get the list in the meantime, and that's not that far away, actually, July, when we only have, 1 month. So I think we can I can get the list from Mark and we'll start to look at that. And I can get that information for us, so.
So I was going to suggest, if you're allowed, when you're in the posting of openings, say, we have typically met at 3:00 on Mondays. We are going to be reviewing our time at our, July meeting, and we'll be open to alternatives, right? if you think that will help you.
Yeah.
Change
I
your
don't
crowd.
know. I don't know how that all works and how the postings of those vacancies gets done anyway. I mean, I assume it comes out of Anthony's office. Probably, or,
I assume so too, but I was suggesting if you can,
you're right,
you might
I
want to see
hear,
if you can suggest language if you can.
yep. Okay,
Gary might have some influence over that.
or you.
Or both of you together.
Yes. Okay. All right.
Well, could we put something like that up? For instance, like with the Facebook, the EHS COA Facebook page, to just say, we're looking for new members. We will have openings. Typically we meet, blah, 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 what Mark just said.
I don't know if it can be posted like that on Facebook or not. I don't know what the laws are regarding that
I
whole
don't
thing.
know either.
I know, I don't know. I know it
No,
does
and-
come out of the town administrator's office, I think. The
I
postings.
think,
You have
I
to
think the
fill out-
official posting has to come out of the town administrator's office, but if you post on Facebook, hey, I heard at the last COA meeting I was listening to, they were thinking about changing the times,
Right,
right? Anyone can post that.
right. We're looking for new members.
Yeah,
You know,
okay.
we have 2 openings.
Not yet.
And then
But we
send them,
will have, that's for sure. Yes.
and
Yes,
send them towards Anthony's office to apply.
right. And then, yeah, you have to fill out the application online, but they don't do a great job of posting what boards need openings.
You usually see one once a year, Anita. I've seen it where it lists
they-
the town and it lists all the openings at one
And
time.
I think that's listed now. I think there's somewhere on the town webpage, there is a listing of openings.
I saw that list recently. I don't know
Right.
where.
Yeah, it was out recently, but I don't think that should be able to stop us from just saying, hey, yes, we know we're going to have 2 openings and we're looking for people who would like to. We could even just say, you know, give a little blurb about it.
Okay.
You can actively recruit, Marge. You can identify people that you really want on the board and
Right.
stir them up interest and get them to apply and you
Right.
know, that's
Yeah.
nothing like that. That's
No, I realize that. I wasn't sure about getting it in the paper, but okay.
they still have to be voted in, so
Yeah,
That's right. Oh, yes. Yeah, well, this is the whole process, the interview process and everything, correct? So,
Right.
all right. I'll do some inquiring around, about that too. You know, about the, when it will get posted and when, I mean, the vacancies occurred. Are you 2 gentlemen going to be able to attend our next meeting or do you have to resign effectively, like soon? I mean, I don't know the rules and regulations of all this.
I asked Anthony and he saw no reason. I have not confirmed with Diane that that's true, but I fully expect to be at the June meeting.
Okay,
yeah, it's interesting that there's law or covering the fact that we can't be on the board and serve on select board. It's just highly discouraged that happens. Obviously, a lot of potential conflict of interest with votes. I was researching mainly because of the FinCom piece as well. And I was like,
oh,
you're telling me there's nothing that says we can't have a select board member on FinCom? That's crazy to me to think about, but there isn't. But you would never do it. So it's kind of a weird dynamic, but
it is a little strange.
so I haven't heard, we just know that we can't have a quorum here, obviously. That's why
Right.
Matthew's not here.
And, right, and I understand that. And that, by the way, I meant to announce that. Matthew kindly sent me a message and said that he would not attend today because if he did attend and Mark and Gary were both here, it would be a select board quorum and they'd have to have posted a meeting, you know, so that's why Matthew's not here, by the way. Thank
Not-
you for mentioning that, Gary. I forgot to
Not a
mention.
good way for Mark and I to come on.
So, and-
So from my perspective, I think attending 2 more meetings so that you guys don't, this meeting and the June meeting, so you don't have quorum issues is the right thing to do regardless, right?
okay,
Serving long-term, I think would potentially open up conflicts of interest and things. So I will be at the June meeting. I will not be reapplying.
I was
sounds
thinking,
like a plan.
I thought that somewhere it was written that if you were on a board and you were elected to go to a different board, you could stay on where you were until you're replaced.
Oh.
I thought that was the way it worked, but you couldn't stay on for a whole year or anything, but you know
Well,
what I
I
mean?
know, doesn't make sense, especially in their case, I think where, you're going to have, your plates are going to be full
Mm-hmm.
every week, ongoing. So, without worrying about or thinking about another board, so. Okay. So we'll proceed to look at this, the availability of rooms and everything, and just to have that information too. And keep an open mind, knowing that we probably are going to have to meet in person only. I would think that if things were going to change, they would be changing fairly soon, but I don't know anything about it really, so. Is that okay with everybody then? And, I want to remind people, we do have our annual meeting in July. Also, that is in our rules and regs that we hold our annual meeting. So in June, we need to appoint at least a couple of people on a nominating committee because officers get voted in July, just as a reminder. So everybody remembers what goes on and has to happen. Okay. So I'll try to gather some information and get back to everybody next month on this whole issue. Anything else, or should we move on to the reports? It's already 4:12. Gee. Okay, I think we're ready then. Are we ready for Liz's report? And did we lose Nicole?
Yep.
We lost Nicole. Okay.
That's
Liz is going to do both reports today.
Yes. And Amy can't join us. She had semi-urgent walk-in situation.
Okay.
So let me share screen real quick and I will pull up the annual statistics. Okay. Are you looking at statistics or my emails?
No,
Statistics.
Okay. Okay. So April was a busy month, not as busy as March was for us. We did notice a decline in our transportation numbers, but that was mainly because we had a driver who was out sick and he was one of our only 2 drivers for that month. Under 60 outreach, rising as usual, going back up. And we've noticed a definite increase in the number of cases that we are collaborating with the police department and fire department on. At least 3 active cases right now where we are attempting to find emergency housing, those types of situations where it's unsafe for someone to continue living in their current situation. So Amy, Nicole, Sue, everyone here has been extremely busy with things going on in town. And we've had lots of discussions. Is this fallout from COVID, or is this always been going on? Why is it increasing right now? And I think it's a combination of everything in the world right now. It's, everyone has been shut up in their houses for so long that a lot of things went under the radar. There weren't home visits going on by different agencies, and now it's all kind of becoming apparent. So very busy in outreach. The other things on my list, we received an email from MART, which is Montechusett Regional Transport Authority, who we contract with for our transportation services, that our town has not been receiving fares. or as many fares as we should for the amount of rides that we are providing. So we charge $1 per ride anywhere within our service area, or if it's for further, say to greater than 15 miles, it's $7 for a ride. And of course, we never turn away anyone for being unable to pay for any reason. But we have been unable to collect fares from several people, participants who ride with us. And then, you know, it's not something that we've ever really pushed in the past. So I was thinking that I would be sending out a letter to all of our participants who actively use the van to remind them the fare schedule and see if we can try to collect some fares. I think definitely for the month of March, we didn't collect a single fare, even though we had 85 rides. So I think just post-COVID, we need to remind people that, you know, rides to the COA are free, but if you're going anywhere else in the community, we are asking for $1 per way. So that letter will be coming out. Next on my list is I had a conversation with Michael de Blasio from the fire department. He is their child passenger safety technician for car seats. And he asked me to put it out there to grandparents who may be driving their grandchildren that he is available to make sure that your car seat is installed properly in your car, and it can actually do it for you. So any grandparents, caretakers, guardians, anyone under 60 watching this video, we have this resource in town, Michael de Blasio, and we can contact him at any time for assistance with making sure that your car seat is installed properly. And his phone number is 978-540-2302. And we even talked about doing a little PSA on cable together to get the word out. So car seat safety is very important, and car seats are very tricky to install. Next on my list is I received 2 thank you notes in the mail in the past 2 weeks. Very sweet, but I did want to acknowledge this one in particular, and this is about Sue Raymond. This individual wrote that back during the time when COVID tests were really difficult to locate, she called here beside herself, trying to find tests for herself and her family. And she said that she called, she spoke with Sue Raymond, who was able to go out even on a weekend, secure her some tests and drop them off at her house for her. So I just wanted to acknowledge Sue for, again, as always, going above and beyond, even outside of her hours, to help people in this community. I think that was a really fantastic thing that she did. And I'm thankful for this person for writing in and bringing that to our attention. And then last on my list, so we can end on a good note, I really want to thank David Harding for all of his hard work and woodworking skills that he's putting into all of our craft classes recently. He's done a fantastic job making some really, really new, exciting projects for us to work on here at our monthly craft class. So I just want to make sure that he gets the acknowledgement. David, thank you so much. And Anita, make sure he watches us.
And he said to somebody over the weekend who asked him if he was still volunteering for the town, he said, no, he was volunteering for me. And I'm keeping him very busy.
You know,
Thank you for that acknowledgement. In fact, he's here, so I'll tell him that you just made that acknowledgement.
For our Facebook page, we have Facebook Analytics, and that photo I posted of him with all the birdhouses is our highest ever rated post. It's been clicked on more times than anything else we've ever posted in the entire history of having a Facebook. So,
Wow.
David, the local celebrity, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And that's it for our reports.
Thank you. Okay. Any questions for Liz? About outreach as well as for the director's report? No, if not, we'll entertain a motion. to accept the reports.
I'll move that we accept the reports as read.
Thank you. And who's seconding that?
I'll second.
Was that Susan?
I'll second, yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay. So we have, let's see, Marilyn?
What?
Marilyn, are you
Yeah.
voting? Yes?
Oh,
Are you-
yes.
Yes, thank you. Mark is back.
Yes.
Thank you. David?
Yes.
Thank you. Gary?
Yes.
Anita?
Yes.
Susan?
Yes.
Lorelei?
Yes.
And Marge is a yes. Thank you ever so much. All right. Do we have anyone that has joined us that is wishing from the public that wishes to speak? We have 10 whole minutes. I don't see anyone. Do you, Liz? Okay.
No,
Is there any other business that needs to come before the board? No? If not, one more motion.
Motion to adjourn.
All right, thank you, David. Who's seconding that?
Second.
Gary did.
Let Gary have it.
Gary, yeah, we'll let him do it. Okay. One more time, Marilyn.
Yes.
Okay, Mark,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Gary,
Yes.
Anita,
Yes.
Susan,
Yes.
Lorelei, and Marge is a yes. Great.
Thank you, guys.
And, Mark, I have a question for you, real quick.
Yes.
Did you come get your sign and Gary signed today?
I got my sign yesterday, I
I
believe.
got mine today.
Oh, you got yours today. Okay, I realized today they were both gone and I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. So, thank you.
Okay.